I'm so excited for the next chapter of The Tale of Despereaux. Chapter 44. Whose ears are those? Who's there? Shouted Cook again. Despereaux wisely said nothing. The kitchen was silent. Said Cook. Nothing. It's nothing at all. Just my nervous little ears playing a trick on me. You're an old fool, she said to herself as she turned back to the stove. You're an old fool, being afraid of being caught making soup. Despereaux slumped against a spool of thread, and as he leaned there, his heart pounding, his paws shaking, a small wonderful something occurred. A midnight breeze entered the kitchen and danced over the stove and picked up the scent of the soup. Then it swirled across the floor and delivered the smell right directly to the mouse's nose. Despereaux put his head up in the air. He sniffed. He sniffed some more. He had never in his life smelled anything so lovely, so inspiring. With each sniff he took, he felt himself growing stronger, braver. Cook leaned in close to the kettle and put the spoon in and took the spoon out and blew the spoon and then brought it to her lips and swallowed and sipped and swallowed. She said. She took another sip. Missing something, she said. More salt, maybe. She put the spoon down and took up an enormous salt shaker and sprinkled salt into the kettle. And Despereaux, feeling emboldened by the smell of the soup, again set to work pushing the spool of thread. Quickly, he said to himself, rolling the spool across the floor. Do it quickly. Do not think. Just push. Cook whirled, the salt shaker in hand, and shouted, Who goes there? Despereaux stopped pushing. He hid behind the spool of thread as Cook took the candle from the stove and held it high. She said. The candlelight came closer. Closer. What's this? The light came to rest directly on Despereaux's big ears sticking up from behind the spool of thread. Ho, said Cook. Whose ears are those? And the light from the candle then shone full in Despereaux's face. A mouse, said Cook. A mouse in my kitchen. Despereaux closed his eyes. He prayed for death. He waited, reader, and waited. Then he heard the sound of laughter. He opened his eyes and looked at Cook. Oh, said Cook. Oh, for the first time in my life, I am glad to see a mouse in my kitchen. Why? She asked. Why am I glad? Oh, because a mouse is not a king's man here to punish me for making soup. That is why, because a mouse is not a king's man here to take me to the dungeon for owning a soup spoon. Oh, a mouse. I, Cook, am glad to see a mouse. Cook's face was red and her stomach was shaking. Oh, she said again, and not just any mouse, a mouse with a needle tied to his waist, a mouse with no tail. Ain't it lovely? Oh, She shook her head and wiped at her eyes. Look, Mouse, these are extraordinary times, and because of that, we must have some peace between us. I will not ask what you are doing in my kitchen, and you, in return, will tell no one what I am cooking. She turned then and went back to the stove and set down the candle and picked up the spoon, and again put it in the pot of soup and took it back and tasted the soup, smacking her lips together. Not right, she said. Not quite right. Still missing something. Despereaux did not move. He could not move. He was paralyzed by fear. He sat on the kitchen floor. One small tear fell out of his left eye. He had expected Cook to kill him. Instead, reader, she had laughed at him. And he was surprised how much her laughter hurt. Chapter 45. Some soup. Cook stirred the soup and then put the spoon down and held up the candle and looked over at Despereaux. What are you waiting for? She said. Go, go, go. There will never be another opportunity for a mouse to escape from my kitchen unharmed. The smell of the soup again wafted in Despereaux's direction. He put his nose up and in the air. His whiskers trembled. Yes, said Cook. That is soup you are smelling. The princess, not that you would know or care, is missing, bless her God-hearted self. And times are terrible. And when times are terrible, soup is the answer. Does it smell like the answer? Yes, said Despereaux. He nodded. Cook turned away from him. She put down the candle and picked up her spoon and started to stir. Oh, she said. These are dark days, and she shook her head. And I'm kidding myself. There ain't no point in making soup unless others eat it. Soup needs another mouth to taste it, another heart to be warmed by it. She stopped stirring. She turned and looked at Despereaux. Mouse, said Cook, would you like some soup? And then, without waiting for an answer, she took the saucer and spooned some soup onto it and set it on the kitchen floor. Come closer, she said. I don't aim to hurt you, I promise. Despereaux sniffed. The soup smelled wonderful, incredible. Keeping one eye on Cook, he stepped out from behind the spool of thread and crept closer. Go on, said Cook. Taste it. Despereaux stepped onto his saucer. Soup covered his paws. He bent his head into the hot broth. He sipped. Oh, it was lovely. Garlic and chicken and watercress, the same soup that Cook had made the day the Queen had died. How was it? Asked Cook anxiously. Wonderful, said Despereaux. Too much garlic? Said Cook, wringing her fat hands. No, said Despereaux. It's perfect. Cook smiled. See, she said, there ain't a body, be it mouse or man, that ain't made better by a little soup. Despereaux bent his head and sipped again, and Cook stayed over him, smiling, saying, It don't need a thing, then. Is that what you're saying? It's just right? Despereaux nodded. He drank the soup in big, noisy gulps. When he stepped out of the saucer, his paws were damp and his whiskers were dripping and his stomach was full. Cook said to him, Not done already, are you? Surely you ain't done. You must want more. I can't, said Despereaux. I don't have time. I'm on my way to the dungeon to save the princess. Ho-hee, Cook laughed. You, a mouse, are going to save the princess? Yes, said Despereaux. I'm on a quest. Well, don't let me stand in your way. So it was Cook that held open the door to the dungeon while Despereaux rode the spool of thread through. Good luck, she said to him. Ho-hee, good luck saving the princess. He closed the door behind her and then leaned against it and shook her head. And if that ain't an indicator of what strange days these are, she said to herself, then I don't know what it is. Me, Cook, feeding a mouse soup and then wishing him good luck in saving the princess. Oh my, strange days indeed. I would say they're strange. I mean, I've never heard of a character in this book that doesn't react negatively to a talking mouse. Except for the Princess P, of course. She likes Despereaux. I can't wait to read more. See you soon.